Stop saying sorry for when giving bad news to somebody in English. When speaking in English, giving bad news to people can be really hard and challenging. Sorry for is not the best phrase to be using. There are more advanced English phrases and expressions you should be using in these situations, and in this video lesson I will teach you advanced English phrases and expressions to help you better give bad news in English. Now, if this is the first time you're here on my YouTube channel, welcome. My name's Adriana from EnglishTeacherAdriana.com. I help English learners improve their English, boost their confidence to finally speak English confidently. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on notifications so that you get that bell notification when I post my next video lesson here to help you improve your confidence speaking in English. Guys, giving bad news to anybody in English is hard. So you want to learn, remember, and use these phrases to better help you prepare yourself for these bad situations. While you're watching this video lesson, I suggest that you use and apply the shadowing technique. So while you're watching, listen, repeat, imitate, shadow, copy me out loud everything that I'm saying, these practice sentences to help you remember and most importantly, use them when speaking in English. Go and find yourself a quiet corner, somewhere you feel comfortable so they can get that speaking practice you deserve to use these phrases when speaking in English. You found yourself a quiet corner? Fantastic. Let's begin with the first phrase. Now the first phrase, please don't take this badly, but is a great, polite, formal phrase to be using when you need to break some bad news to somebody. For example, please don't take this badly, but I'm going to have to break up with you. So if you need to end a relationship with somebody, maybe break up with a girlfriend or a boyfriend, but you want to do this in a nice way, the phrase, please don't take this badly, but I need to break up with you, is a great phrase to be using. Again, pronunciation, please don't take this badly, but, and state the bad news. Now in a formal situation, maybe you're at work and you need to fire somebody, or you need to tell them that they're going to lose their job, then a great phrase you could be using in this situation is the phrase, it is my unfortunate duty to tell you that. It is my unfortunate duty to tell you that. For example, my boss has given me the task to fire 2 colleagues, and I don't know how I'm going to break this bad news to them. So instead of just saying, I'm sorry, but you're going to lose your job, a polite, a more nicer way I could express this is using the phrase, it is my unfortunate duty to tell you that you are going to lose your job. Again, pronunciation, it is my unfortunate duty to tell you that. It is my unfortunate duty to tell you that. Now, less formal, but it is still a polite and a formal phrase to be using is the phrase, I'm afraid, but I've got some bad news, and state your bad news. For example, I'm afraid I've got some bad news, we are letting you go. Again, pronunciation, I'm afraid I've got some bad news, we are letting you go. I'm afraid I've got some bad news, and state your bad news. Now the phrase, I regret to inform you that, I regret to inform you that is another polite, it's a formal phrase great to be using in a work setting with colleagues when you want to give somebody bad news, maybe about a project, about an idea, about something bad happening. For example, I regret to inform you that you'll be losing your job tomorrow. Again, pronunciation, I regret to inform you that. I regret to inform you that. Now a similar phrase to this is the phrase, I'm afraid to inform you that. I'm afraid to inform you that. Now if you're scared, you don't know how they're going to take this bad news, I'm afraid to inform you that is a great phrase to be using to express this. For example, I'm afraid to inform you that tomorrow you'll be losing your job. Again, pronunciation, I'm afraid to inform you that. I'm afraid to inform you that. But if you feel that there is no easy way to give that person the bad news, then you could use the phrase, there is no easy way to say this, but. There is no easy way to say this, but. For example, there is no easy way to say this, but your cousin is ill. Again, there is no easy way to say this, but your cousin is ill. So you can change your ending to whatever the bad news is. For example, your cousin's ill, maybe you're losing your job, whatever the bad news is. Again, pronunciation, there is no easy way to say this, but. There is no easy way to say this, but. Now, a very similar phrase to this is the phrase, I'm very sorry to tell you this, but. I'm very sorry to tell you this, but. For example, I'm very sorry to tell you this, but your cousin's ill. Or I'm very sorry to tell you this, but you're going to lose your job tomorrow. Again, pronunciation, I'm very sorry to tell you this, but, and state what the bad news is. I'm very sorry to tell you this, but. Now, giving somebody bad news is really hard. And you could use the phrase, it's not a question, just a phrase to express this. And this phrase is, I have some distressing news. I have some distressing news. For example, Mary, I have some distressing news. Your cousin's ill. Again, pronunciation, I have some distressing news. Not distressing, guys. No, listen carefully. Distressing. Distressing. I have some distressing news. I have some distressing news. Now the phrase, I've got some bad news, but, and you state what the bad news is a great polite phrase to be using with friends, with family. For example, I've got some bad news, but I won't be able to attend the meeting tomorrow. So this is good when the news isn't so bad. Great conversational, informal phrase to be using with friends, colleagues, and family. Again, I've got some bad news, but. I've got some bad news, but. Also the phrase, I've got something sad to tell you. I've got something sad to tell you is a great phrase to be using in polite conversational settings, friends and family, to acknowledge, to warm them up to the bad news. For example, Mary, I've got some bad news to tell you. Tomorrow we're not going on our holiday. So here she's been looking forward to our holiday, going on vacation, but something came up and I have to give her the bad news. Mary, I've got some bad news to tell you. We're not going on holidays tomorrow. Again, pronunciation. I've got some sad news, I'm afraid. I've got some sad news, I'm afraid. But in a situation that maybe someone's put you in that bad situation that you have to give bad news to somebody else. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, you'd like to acknowledge this to the person that you're speaking with, then you can do this by using the phrase, I feel really bad having to tell you this, but. I feel really bad having to tell you this, but. For example, I had to tell Mary the bad news that her cousin passed away. So passed away is a natural way, it's a nice way of saying he died. So I had to do this. She didn't know. When I went to tell her, I used the phrase, Mary, I feel really bad having to tell you this, but your cousin passed away. Again, pronunciation, I feel really bad having to tell you this, but. I feel really bad having to tell you this, but. Now, a very similar phrase to this, also polite, is a phrase, I don't know how to announce this, but. I don't know how to announce this, but. For example, maybe Mary's breaking up with her husband and we're all worried, but she doesn't know how to tell us. So when she started to break the bad news to us, she's used the phrase, I don't know how to announce this, but I'm leaving my husband. I don't know how to announce this, but I'm leaving my husband. Again, pronunciation, I don't know how to announce this, but. I don't know how to announce this, but. Another phrase you could use to warm the person up, prepare them for the bad news, is the phrase, I need to warn you that I have some bad news. I need to warn you that I have some bad news. For example, Mary, I need to warn you that I have some bad news. Sit down and I'll tell you right away. Again, pronunciation, I need to warn you that I have some bad news. I need to warn you that I have some bad news. Now the phrase, we've gotten ourselves into some hot water. We've gotten ourselves into some hot water is a great phrase to be using in formal, polite settings when you want to describe that you have a really bad, a really negative situation happening. It's a big problem and it's causing a lot of problems for people around you. So if you want to warn them, you can do this by using the phrase, we've gotten ourselves into hot water. Great phrase to be using in formal settings to be very polite about the bad news. Again, pronunciation, we've gotten ourselves into hot water. We've gotten ourselves into hot water. Now, if you want to give somebody bad news, but the news that you're going to give them, it's bad, but it's not really life-changing, then you could use the phrases, I'm afraid to tell you, I'm afraid to tell you. For example, I'm afraid to tell you I won't be able to go to the theatre with you tomorrow. I'm afraid to tell you I won't be able to go to the theatre with you tomorrow. Or the phrase, I won't be able to. I won't be able to. For example, I won't be able to go to the movies with you tomorrow. I won't be able to go to the movies with you tomorrow. You could also simply use the word unfortunately. Unfortunately. For example, unfortunately, I won't be able to go to the movies with you tomorrow. Unfortunately, I won't be able to go to the movies with you tomorrow. But if you find yourself in a bad situation, but you did something to prevent that situation, but still you have to give the other person the bad news, then you could use a phrase, I tried, but. For example, I was talking to Mary, I told her about our friend Bob. He had a drug problem and unfortunately he overdosed. And here I told her, I tried everything. I tried getting him to rehab, tried helping him, but unfortunately he still had an overdose. Again, pronunciation, I tried, but. I tried, but. Remember guys, that practice makes perfect. Make sure to watch this video lesson a few times, use and apply the shadowing technique. So listen, repeat, shadow, imitate, copy me, say these phrases, these sentences out loud to make sure that you are speaking, practicing, and to help you remember these phrases when speaking in English. Let's take it one step further and practice even more. Watch this video lesson for a third time, choose 5 new phrases you've learned, use them in a sentence in the comments below this video to help you remember, personalize them so that you can use them when speaking in English. If you're struggling to create sentences, make sure to check out other sentences in the comments below, help you get ideas to think of different situations you could use these phrases when speaking in English. Also, if you like this video lesson, please do let me know by smashing that like button. Like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on notifications so that you get that bell when I post my next video lesson here to help you improve your confidence speaking in English. Don't forget to continue learning with me by downloading my free audio guide where I share with you exactly what you need to be doing every single day to drastically improve your confidence speaking in English. If you'd like more video lessons, make sure to check out this lesson here. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in my next lesson. Bye for now.